Good morning. It is Wednesday, October 27, and this is Devotions from St. Paul Lutheran Church in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Have you ever thought about the basis for your relationship with Jesus and what comes of that relationship? I'd like to read a few verses from Paul's first letter to the Corinthians, from chapter 9, and see what Paul thought about his relationship, and then see where we can go for that for us. And then we'll think about that as we go on through the day. So, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, assorted verses. If I proclaim this gospel, this gives me no grounds for boasting. For an obligation is laid on me, and woe to me if I do not proclaim the gospel. For though I am free with respect to all, I have made myself a slave to all, so that I might win more of them. I have become all things to all people, so that I may by all means save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, so that I may share in its blessings. Paul had a very profound sense of relationship with Jesus. Now, it seems to me that Paul had a very simple idea of the gospel. At least it can be explained in a simple way. He says in other places, I preach Jesus Christ and Him crucified. And that's the essence of His gospel. It sets Him apart from all kinds of other people and the things that they preached. But that was the essence of His gospel. Now go back to the first verse today. He said, I have no reason to boast because I preach. It's an obligation that's laid on me. He feels so close a relationship with Jesus that he can do nothing else but tell other people about Jesus. That's his obligation. We all have obligations. We all have sense of what we have to do to maintain relationship. But he feels this so strongly that he can do nothing else. Now, let's be real. Paul was a tent maker. He worked with canvas. He made his own living. He was very adamant that he was going to make his own living and not be dependent on other people. But that was not why he lived. He lived to preach the gospel. Now the other verses, they make me think. I have become all things to all people, so that by all means I may save some. And he has some examples. For those that are under the law, I am under the law, though I am not subject to the law anymore because I am under Christ's law. To those that are weak, I become weak, so that by all means I might save some. Paul underwent tremendous hardships. He did all kinds of things for the gospel. Because his focus was the gospel, he would do anything that was required for him to preach the gospel. Now let's jump up to us today. I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing things. Right now, I'm doing this talk, but next I might be reading a book, and next I might be cutting the grass, and next I might be doing something else. And each one I focus on, and it's not a continuum. But for Paul, even when he was making tents and working with canvas, he was talking to people and preaching the gospel. I haven't attained that level of commitment. I think about my relationship with Jesus a lot more than I ever did when I was younger, but I have not gotten to that level. I would ask that as you go through the day today, think about your relationship with Jesus. Think about how you might compartmentalize your life and how you might get your relationship to Jesus to overwhelm the other parts of your life. I struggle with that. I know most people struggle with that because they have to focus to get through the normal things of life. But Paul gives us an example. And Paul gives us the idea that Jesus is the center of our being. Jesus is the reason that we are called Christian. And our relationship with Jesus is the be-all and end-all of that being, of our relationship. We have to focus all the time on that. I hope this is something that you can think about, and I hope it's something you can pray about. Good morning.